Interesting kind of tidbit there, given that we've seen a lot of faster times throughout the day today, but doesn't matter. Got the gold. Meanwhile, the women's third varsity eight's now out onto the course. We've just got 4 boats in this event from right to left there. Lanes 2 through 5 are Drexel, Temple, Georgetown, and Fordham in that order. So lane 2, Drexel here trying to complete a sweep of these 8 events. They will have a difficult road as they did not have the fastest time in the qualifying yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. And again, we have a mix of ACRA crews, some IRA crews, so some varying championships here that we are seeing in this race, which makes it kind of special. So it's pretty fun for all of those crews to come out here on the same water together and are clearly having a great race because all boats are still connected. We're looking at those center lanes, as you said, Georgetown and Temple going head to head with Drexel and Fordham. About bow to stern now. So as we speak, starting to separate just a little bit. We have 2 races going on, Temple and Georgetown in the middle, and then Drexel and Fordham on the outsides, hanging on bow to stern. Yeah,
so Temple, lane 3 there, they had the fastest time in the time trial yesterday, right around 7:12, 7:13 for them. Georgetown, not far behind, though, just about 2.5 seconds, which is almost negligible in a time trial. Lots of factors go into, the final time that you put in. And again, Georgetown kind of in a similar position as the Drexel men's team that we just saw finish. High finishes in the 1V race, high finishes in the 2V race, but being able to put forward a really strong 3V race at the same time.
Yeah, you're right about that. And as we speak here, we are looking at Georgetown, who has taken a little bit of a lead here, starting to move away from the rest of the field, starting to look back on Temple now. So Georgetown starting to walk away, actually pretty quickly from Temple. Whatever they just did was a pretty impressive move.
And you can see, even though the angle doesn't necessarily tell the full story, just hitting those yellow buoys, which are in a line there in front of the Temple team. And there you see the reality of the situation. 7th seat of Georgetown sitting just about even with the bow person in the Temple boat, and moving as well. Now it's the stroke seat with bow, and now Coxon moving even with the bow seat there. So a really nice move from Georgetown.
Yeah, this is a power move here. And Joe, you've been in some of these boats yourself. Sure. Is there any move or anything that kind of gets you going, gets you fired up, that a coxswain can say or do that really lights your fire out there when you're in a situation like this and you really just need to break away from a crew?
So obviously throughout the race you take power 10s, right? That's the classic one. I always liked the strategy of having one special 10 that the coxswain could pull out at any time. Generally, when I was rowing in high school, we like to do that early in the race to try and set ourselves apart, maybe around the 600, 700 meter mark.
Sort of a wild card move, if you will, at any point in the race.
But later on, in the season, as we started to face faster teams, we could move that around, not necessarily know it was coming for the rowers, and the coxswain had discretion to be able to call that on his own when he thought we needed it the most. And that's when, it's just, you hear the key word, whatever you call that 10, you hear that key word, and it's time to lock in. And I like that, kind of having your own special one, your own keyword for your own 10, to just go crazy. I know a lot of coaches will like to get away kind of from the power 10 terminology, and focus 10s can be really important, especially over 2,000 meters when the race can get a little mundane at times, especially if you're maintaining a certain distance from a boat, or if you're well out in front or behind. Just rowing your own race and trying to add some interesting different focus points as well can be really beneficial.
Yeah, you're right about that. Well said. And right now we are still looking at Georgetown rowing at about a 37-38. So really making these higher rates look very easy as they keep walking away from Temple here. So not much has changed in terms of placing. We're keeping our eye on the race that's happening behind them. Drexel and Fordham in lanes 2 and 5. Not too much has changed. I'm going to give the advantage to Drexel, but again, not by much. We're still looking at Georgetown walking away, breaking away, opening up just a little bit of water now over Temple as they start to near the final quarter of this race.
Yeah, so Georgetown, outstroking this Temple boat by a solid margin here. You can see just getting to that catch point pretty quickly. Maybe Temple just moving things up just a little bit here, but Georgetown really impressive over that second 500, now into this third 500, kind of keeping up that speed. They might have settled down, just a little bit there. They took a really strong move in the second 500. So Coxon now might just be centering the boat here. They still have the speed. They're still opening up the lead, but calmed down just a little bit. And now into the final 500, I wonder if they don't fly through here and try and make a statement in this third Varsity 8 final.
Yeah, you're right. And they've done a great job commanding this race pretty much from the start. They did have to work a little bit to break away from Temple, but now that they are starting to walk away with open water, I don't want to say that they can get comfortable. You can never get comfortable in a race, but you can just sort of ease your mind a little bit. There's a little bit of relief that comes with being in this position when you can look back at the rest of the field and see that your entire field is behind you and you are in first. It is your race to lose. So Megan actually put it very well yesterday, where she said there's a lightness that comes with this, with the mentality. So it gives you a little bit of a mental boost here when you know that you can look back at the entire field. And here we are looking at Georgetown again. Not much has changed. They're just consistent, and they're just walking away from Temple, Fordham, and Drexel.
Yeah, 250 meters left to go here now for this Georgetown boat. As you said, they look to put the finishing touches on this one. So that's going to, bring us to the end of our Varsity 8 racing for the day, which has been, just an incredible day here so far in this early morning. Obviously, for those who are, who have been with us, they know that we have inverted the schedule in order to try and beat some of this wind and get these high-profile races, out onto the course early. Luckily, the conditions seem to be holding up pretty nicely. The winds are expected to increase over the next few hours, so we'll keep an eye on how things progress. But at the moment, fingers crossed all up and down the course here that we can continue to move through these races. And Georgetown crosses the line and wins gold in the women's third Varsity 8.
Yeah, and they should be pretty happy with that row. A well-executed race plan for sure. They were very consistent all the way down the course. Slowly walking away from Temple here, who will finish in second. And then we will see Drexel and Fordham, who were quite tight coming into that last quarter of the race, who has prevailed. So even we will be surprised as they pop onto our screen here. And it looks like Fordham. Followed very closely by Drexel about bow to stern.
And there you see the results popping up onto your screen from the race that we just watched.